Sometime in the deep quiet before dawn, Sam Ridley stood at the gates of the Fairmont estate with the feeling that life had cornered him for the last time. Rain clung to his jacket, wind pressed cold against his skin, and behind him his son Julian waited with a duffel bag and a look that hovered between disbelief and exhaustion. The mansion loomed ahead, 3 stories of decayed Gothic stone, windows shattered, vines strangling the walls like time itself was trying to bury what remained. Ranger, their loyal dog, sniffed at the rusted iron gate as if urging Sam forward. They had nothing left but this strange, impossible offer from a forgotten town. Restore the ruins for 50 cents, and it becomes yours. It sounded like a joke, but Sam was fresh out of choices. He pushed the gate, its scream echoing through the overgrown courtyard, and stepped toward the darkness inside. He didn't know then that this place, this dying skeleton of a dream, held secrets meant to change everything. That beneath its collapse waited journals, blueprints, hidden rooms, and a story of love and loss that mirrored his own. He didn't know that a compass, a set of tools, and the ghosts of a couple from 60 years ago would pull him back from the edge he'd been living on since Lydia died. He only knew that sometimes life hands you a broken thing, not to burden you, but to show you what you're still capable of mending. Sometime later, after days spent patching holes, hauling debris, and trying to convince Julian they hadn't lost their minds, Sam uncovered something that stopped him cold. Ranger's paws scratched at a rotted floorboard until it gave way, revealing a sealed cellar door beneath the rubble. Inside, the air smelled of cedar and old dreams, preserved journals belonging to Nathaniel Hayes, the estate's original builder, blueprints, and tools that still carried the warmth of a man's unfinished life. The pages told a story Sam recognized too well. Nathaniel had poured his grief into building this place after losing Abigail, the woman he loved. But heartbreak had swallowed him whole, leaving the estate abandoned, its purpose buried with him. As Sam read by lantern light, Lydia's compass heavy in his hand, something inside him cracked open. Nathaniel hadn't been building a mansion. He'd been building a sanctuary, a healing center for veterans, a place where pain could be reshaped into purpose. And now, decades later, Sam, a broken carpenter trying to keep moving after losing his own heart, was standing in the same shadowed rooms with the same chance to turn sorrow into something that mattered. Julian, studying the drawings, whispered, "We have to finish it, Dad." For the first time in years, Sam felt the faintest pulse of hope. Sometime during the brutal months that followed, the town began to notice the impossible transformation happening behind the estate's gates. The months blurred into a relentless rhythm, sunrise to moonrise, father and son rebuilding roofs, sanding floors, restoring windows piece by painstaking piece. Miriam and Kayla worked in the ballroom corner, assembling Abigail's stained glass window, each shard glowing like trapped sunrise. Curtis, a young veteran haunted by his own battles, found calm in the workshop's quiet, steady work. Sam's classes grew into a refuge, veterans who had forgotten how to breathe, walking into his space, and for the first time in years, leaving lighter. Word spread. Donations came. Volunteers showed up after their shifts at the diner and hardware store. Even the town's elders came forward with memories of Nathaniel and Abigail, offering stories, photographs, anything to help. What began as a desperate effort to survive evolved into something else entirely, a resurrected purpose. And still, Sam wrestled with fear at night, fear that he wasn't enough, that he'd fail the people beginning to depend on him. But every time he faltered, Lydia's compass pointed north once more with the same quiet message: keep going. Sometime in the summer heat, when the ballroom was finally safe to enter, Julian discovered a hidden envelope behind Nathaniel's portrait. The paper shook in Sam's hands as he opened it, revealing a letter dated 1963, written to "Whoever finishes what I could not." In it, Nathaniel confessed everything: his grief, his abandoned dream, and the truth behind the estate's creation. He and Abigail had intended this place to be a sanctuary for veterans, a center for healing long before anyone spoke openly about trauma. The workshops, the gardens, the open halls, every part of the estate had been designed with purpose. And Nathaniel, knowing he might fail, had created a trust that legally protected the land if the restoration was ever completed for its intended mission. Sam stared at the pages, the weight of responsibility settling over him like a mantle. Julian read the trust aloud: restoration to original standards, veteran services, community programs. They were already doing it, already building the dream Nathaniel had buried. Bonnie, the town clerk, confirmed it. If the mission was completed, the land would permanently belong to the community. But someone else had learned this truth too. Councilman Chambers, a man with ambition and developers whispering in his ear. Sometime near the edge of triumph, Chambers launched a quiet war. He tried to pressure inspectors, sow doubt in the council, claimed the estate was unsafe, unsustainable, unfit. Julian raged. Sam stayed steady, even when fear clawed at him. They responded not with panic, but with proof. They gathered testimonials from veterans whose lives had shifted under Sam's steady hands, letters from organizations pledging support, photographs documenting every beam replaced, every wall restored, financial plans showing long-term viability. By the night before the council vote, the ballroom was lined with display boards telling a story too powerful to ignore. And still, Sam worried, because legal truth only works if people honor it. Standing alone under the stained glass window, moonlight turning the floor into a mosaic of gold and green, Sam whispered his fears into the quiet. What if he wasn't enough to lead this place? What if enthusiasm faded? What if he failed the dreamers who came before him and the broken souls who needed this space now? But in the stillness, Lydia's compass pointed north once more. Some purposes don't need certainty. They need faith. Sometime in a crystalline spring afternoon, the town filled the estate like a rising tide. Cars lined the road for a quarter mile, veterans in uniform and civilians shoulder to shoulder, young families, elderly residents, journalists, architects, all drawn by what had taken root in this forgotten place. Kayla's documentary played in looping montage, showing the transformation from ruin to renewal. The community quilt hung along the ballroom wall like a tapestry of second chances. Reverend Frome led the gathering, his voice echoing through restored rafters. Representatives from veterans groups stepped forward with emotion in their eyes. The governor's office pledged support. The council chairwoman, visibly shaken by the outpouring, acknowledged the undeniable truth. The estate was no longer an abandoned structure. It was a living, breathing center of healing. And when the vote finally came, every hand rose in favor. Chambers' plans dissolved under the weight of community. And Sam, who once arrived with nothing but a dog, his son, and a compass, felt something soft and overwhelming break open inside his chest. After the victory, when the crowds thinned and the sun dipped low behind the stained glass, Sam walked the quiet ballroom with Julian, Kayla, Bonnie, Howard, Andre, and Curtis, people who had become family, bound not by blood, but by purpose. Ranger wandered between them, tail brushing Sam's leg like a reminder of every step they had survived together. Reverend Foam offered Sam a cup of coffee and a truth he wasn't expecting. You didn't just rebuild a building. You taught an entire community to repair what breaks. Sam looked around at the walls that once crumbled, now standing strong because so many hands had lifted them together. For the first time since losing Lydia, Sam could breathe without pain tightening his chest. Maybe it wasn't desperation that brought him here. Maybe it was faith. Quiet, unnoticed faith that broken things could be rebuilt. As musicless dancing filled the ballroom, as laughter mixed with soft conversation, Sam realized he had walked into this estate as a man falling apart, but he wasn't that man anymore. He was part of something bigger, something rooted and real, and the work, its purpose, was only just beginning. Sometime in the years that followed, the Fairmont estate became exactly what Nathaniel and Abigail dreamed of, and more. Veterans found peace in the rhythm of hand tools. Families gathered in gardens blooming with Abigail's designs. Julian built a career documenting stories of restoration across the country, always returning home to the place that rebuilt him too. Sam taught younger generations the craft that saved him: measure twice, cut once. Let the wood teach you patience. And every time he passed the stained glass trees glowing in morning light, he felt Lydia, Nathaniel, and Abigail walking beside him, 3 lives whose losses intertwined to create a sanctuary for countless others. If this story touched you, if it made you feel something you didn't expect, don't forget to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more storytelling that stays with you long after it ends. And before you go, where are you listening from, and what time is it where you are right now?